test of the six-wheel trucks. I got a pair of six-wheel trucks on this old tender. I've moved over the controls from the four-wheel truck we had earlier. So these are six wheels, and the test that I usually do is I'll lift up the back whole truck off. Now if you do this with a flyer, you know what happens, right? And then I set it back down correctly, yes. And then I lift the front truck off, and you know what happens if you do that with flyer. Okay, fine. So we have very smooth, consistent movement on either truck, which tells me we have all-wheel. Now, the front ones, if I'm not mistaken, are four-wheel drive. I have these two wired. The back ones are all six wheels wired up as a different technique. And I shut this off so I can talk a little easier. You guys won't hear buzzing sounds. I went through, this is the carnage of development experiments. I went through several iterations, as you might see. I built some samples that I could destroy easily without running out of parts in time, which seemed to work. Get this all out of here a little bit. Okay, so I may have shown you this. We have a little test figure here where we can do our assembly. So I put that one down, and then I put a lid on top. I may not have any left. Oh yeah, there's one. So I put the lid on top, and then I do that. We're golden. Glue it down. So how I've been assembling these guys is I have found a roll of wire, believe it or not, that is 22 gauge, but it's with a thick strand, and it's not flex insulation. It's not this 22 with the flex, okay? Which is great when you're connecting the tender, but when you're wiring a truck up to another wire that is the flex, you don't need it. So I went through a lot of iterations. Here I peeled off all the insulation, see if that helped. I used glue gun and all that, and and then this one, I have to say, I soldered the pieces together, but then they were so globby I couldn't press them in, so I had to use my soldering iron to warm up the bushing and push them in. By the time I got done, I had lost all continuity except for these two. The other two, I had to rip them out to find out what happened. The solder joints had come apart. So, as it turns out, it seems the easiest and most reliable method is to cut two pieces of wire 32 to 35 millimeters long. 25 is the insulated part, and you fit each wire in this hole, and then you push the strands through the back with something, and then you put in the eyelet and you press them down. Oh, and then in this one you have one straight coming in, and you wrap its strands over the other one, and then you push the eyelet down. So you don't have a solder connection. What you have is a press fit with the eyelet. And how that works is the hole is very precise, and the wire creates a friction on the outside diameter. So when you press it in, it becomes pressed against that, between the plastic and the eyelet. And there's so many wires, and the pressure seems to be good enough that it holds. Now, maybe over time that doesn't work. I mean, I'll do some life tests. I'll try to run a train for quite a while and see what happens with it. But I have to say, it worked on the four-wheel, and it worked on two of the six-wheel. And I was struggling with I was almost ready to go back to my straight wire and make you guys form that. But I decided to try one more time. Now, this is not hard, but it's still a little tricky, but it's pretty simple, frankly. And I'll make a video later to show you how you fit the wire in, press it together, and then and then you glue it together with the tool that I have here. I'll give you the dimensions and how you get it. And these are flyer screws, so it should not be a mystery or anything. And In order to get these trucks, I had to do some more wheels because Leon's is all tied up. I didn't want to grab his. So anyway, I drilled some more wheels out, cut some more axles. I was getting practice on getting my dimensions by eye. It was pretty exciting. I took these screws out of this wheel so it could freewheel because my traction tire didn't hold up. Actually, neither one of them did. I don't know. I must have had old glue or something. It didn't like it. I think that's why it fell over that one time on the thing. But at any rate, I don't have time to put it on. But this is ready. This is not really ready to go. Wires hanging off. It's all globby. But the proof was it runs. It runs real smooth. I can put paper under the wheels on one truck, or I can lift the whole truck off. That's usually my test. Next will be building a tender for that engine. Maybe I'll use these, and that'll be the way to do it. I don't. It's a 336. I don't think I have a tender for it. I don't know. This is a. I call it a kit bash. It was just left over. You know, it's missing this. It's missing the front. It was just left over from a couple of projects, and there it is. All right. Guess I better get my mind right and get ready to go back up. Not much of a show, but the guy works like it's supposed to. Very reliable. Steady Eddie. I really like that. You don't even hear, when you go through the switches on old Flyer, you got one wheel here, one wheel there. Yeah, you know the story. Anyway, I feel very comfortable with this fix, and I'm going to build another set. Well, I got to build one for Leon to make sure his is right. And then I'm going to build a 4-wheel set, and then I'll run them on the line. I'll put this train up. I'll put the thing back together and put it on without the traction part maybe, and just let it run the tender and see how it works. Make sure the bushings are doing their thing, the wheels are holding up, the spacer's holding, all the plastic parts are holding up, and in the press fit. If the press fit starts to get loose, I'll test each wheel. I'll make sure. And if I see or hear anything that's getting funky, I'll have to rethink it, I guess. I was almost going back to the old way. It was close, but all right. I'm going to bug out. I'm getting the call. Later, gang.